Hi there. I have realized that my knitting basket, which is not very big, it sits next to my chair in the living room, and it kind of collects the ends of projects or projects that I'm working on, and I need to clean it out because there's just no space and I can't dig in it to find what I need. So I brought everything into my sewing room so I can sort it out. I'll start with this bag, which is leftovers from a sock project. So I've got a needle cord and some leftover yarn. You know what? I think we'll do this the easy way. We'll just dump it out on the table. See what's in there. Stitch markers galore, needles. That's a little bag of stitch markers that I won at my knitting guild, and of course, mints to keep the knitter happy. The yarn label. Oh goodness. Okay. Progress keepers. And let's just move on to the next one. So here's another end of knitting bag that doesn't have quite as much in it. A little bit of leftover yarn, which is just scraps. So I'm probably need to wind that into a little ball. Deal with that. A needle case with nothing in it. So to find those, and a pattern for scatter bee socks, which I didn't actually use with the yarn that was in there because I didn't feel like it at the time. Here we have another very nearly completed project. So the knitting is all done, but they're still attached. The yarn is still attached to the socks. So I'm just going to go ahead and clip those off real quick so that my yarn doesn't get pulled through an accident, and I have to redo those last few stitches. That is never fun. But I will have to set these aside and take a few minutes to go ahead and weave those ends in. But I made these out of Knit Picks Felici for my mom. They are very close to her team colors, so she should enjoy that. And here's, these ones are actually in progress. So another pair of Knit Picks Felici socks, and I've made up this little pattern myself. So just kind of a fun yarn over zigzag pattern. Lots of fun. So that actually I want to keep handy, but probably not in my basket. There's a needle case, a pattern from the shawl I just finished, so I can put that away. This is a little leftover yarn that I had from my that shawl that I just finished. Put that over in the scraps, and another tiny little scrap from socks. These socks, which I am about ready to start, and I need to find the appropriate needles because I started them last night and took it out because I found I had 2 different sizes of needles. So I really need to find the right size. I'll just go ahead and put those down there so I don't forget to find those. See, this is going to be a hippo because my little girl wants a hippo. And at the moment, I don't have a lot of desire to knit the hippo. So I'm leaving it out to guilt me into knitting it with the needles. Maybe I will get that started today. We can hope. More leftover yarn. Hi. And an interruption, because that's what we do around here. I have a hat on the go. And see, it's just a little cable hat. I brought the cable down into the ribbing. I'm designing it myself. This is out of some leftover Knit Picks Preciosa. I made a sweater out of this. And I made one hat, which, not surprisingly, is out on the table. So I made this one. Finished that earlier this week. And decided I wanted to make another one because I still have a lot of yarn. I don't know how many hats I'm going to end up getting out of this. I might just make a pair of mitts because I'm getting tired of pink hats when I finish with this. So this is going to stay in the basket. But with the hippo yarn, that will stay in the basket, but it hopefully won't take as much room. Chapstick, that's always good. That feels better. Chapstick. Love me some chapstick. Keep that handy. And more needles. These are my minis. So I have shorties and I have minis. And I brought in my my regular ChiaoGoo set. I love my ChiaoGoo needles. They are my absolute favorite. I love how they go together, how well organized they are. I'm kind of, yeah, I'm a little bit OCD-ish, and so I really like having things well organized and having a place for everything to go and put away where I don't have to see it all the time. So I have all those in there. And unsurprisingly, more needles. So this is a long ChiaoGoo needle that I knit a pair of socks on 2 at a time. I don't know where its case is. Probably one of the, oh, it might be this one. It is. It's the 40-inch circular. I can actually put that away. I'll put all my needles back in their packages, but the ones that I don't use frequently and that are a little bit harder to identify, I do, just so that it's easier. So I'll put this in my little drawer where I keep my needles. Let's see, I've got a random crochet hook because I have no idea why, because I had it out. Stitch markers, I like having this handy next to the chair. Some random scraps of paper from my kids. Does that ever happen to anybody else? And here is there's the stitch pattern for something, I don't know. I used that for something, I don't know what. Can't remember. And yarn labels. And here are some of my hand spun yarn labels from a shawl that I finished, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago. And here's a nice cable needle or not cable needle, but a nice long needle and a nice long cable to go back in my ChiaoGoo set. And a couple more needles, and these are the ones I will use to start those socks in this bag. So my girls have asked for purple socks, so I have this yarn, which is kind of self-striping purple. It's from Ice Yarns in Turkey. They have a nice sturdy quality to it. So I do have 3 needles here because I use 2 needles to start my toes on Judy's Magic Cast On, and I have just one of the bamboo 9-inch circulars. So I'll start a sock on this one, and once I get high enough on the toe that I just transfer to one, I'll take the bamboo one out and I'll start the other sock with the bamboo and ChiaoGoo, or the red lace and 9-inch circular, and then once I get that, I'll just put the bamboo, honestly, I'll probably drop it in the basket out of the way while I knit the socks 2 at a time on 2 separate 9-inch circulars. So I'll go ahead and put these in the bag so I can get those started later today for my girls. And random stitch markers and a safety pin, and some needle tip protectors. Okay, so everything is out. Now we can go back to what I really want to have in there, are these on-the-go projects. This one is going to go in there. I like to have my chapstick in there. Let's see if I can't clean some of this mess up though. So these are my double zeros, or are they triple zeros, that I got to make a tighter gauge. They're double zeros. So I got to make a tighter gauge sock for my mom. And there's one more somewhere. I don't know where. It's probably in a bag somewhere. We'll find it at some point. So I'll just keep those together in the same case. Most of my 9-inch circulars are size 0, so I'll keep my double zeros separate. They're kind of easy to tell apart, but if they're out of the package and by themselves, it will be hard for me to remember what's what. See, these are some extra little cables from my mini set, so I'll put these in here. We don't want to fit.
What?
Yeah, I'll have to take those out and do that later. Let's see. Stitch markers. Let's put some of the stitch markers back in here and throw this back in the case. And I'll put some point protectors. 4 point protectors in this bag to be used with those socks. If I'm at home, I probably don't need them all the time, but it's handy to have them. You never know when you're going to need it. So, all right. Well, now all I have to do is put the rest of my odds and ends away, put my needles back in their cases, and I will feel better about my little knitting basket. It's down to the level of the basket now, practically, so it won't be, it was piled up pretty ridiculous before, so I'll be able to handle it now. Have a good day.